Good morning, boys and girls. It's April 2nd. It is Thursday, and we are moving right on into lesson 8.8, which is finding part of a group using unit fractions. Now, we know what unit fractions are, right? It's when one is in the numerator, it's one unit of the fraction, one piece of the fraction. We learned that a few lessons ago. Now, let's dive right on in. Okay, unlock the problem. Audrey buys a bouquet of 12 flowers. 1/3 of them are red. How many of the flowers are red? I want you to think that when you're given the fraction 1/3 here, that's how many groups you're going to have. You have 12 total, and if you have 1/3 that you're using, there's going to be 3 equal groups of something. All right? Equal parts, that's what fractions are about. So we're given 1/3. I want you to keep that in your mind that we're going to need 3 equal groups then, okay? And a lot of the times, all of the time, the denominator is going to give you that information about how many groups, okay? So let's break this down. It says, how many flowers does Audrey buy in all? We just read that she buys 12 flowers, and then what fraction of the flowers are red? 1/3 are red. Now let's take it a step farther. It says put 12 counters on your math board. Now I already did this because that thing happened with my phone again and it stopped. Okay, moving on. So 12 counters on your math board, that's the total, and I want to find 1/3 of the group, meaning that there's going to be 3 equal groups. And we're going to draw the counters below. So I know, and you know, that 12 divided by 3 is 4. Just like we did, or what we will do in a moment. We're using our past knowledge. Division and fractions are similarities. So I know I have a total of 12 divided into 1/3, right? I want to find 1/3 of the group. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4. And I knew that it was 4 because I know my division facts, and that's how many are going into each group. Circle one of the groups to show 1/3, which I did, and then count how many are in that group, which there's 4. So 1/3 of 12 is 4, and so 4 flowers are red. Now we can do the same thing with this problem down here. It says, what if Audrey buys a bouquet of 9 flowers and 1/3 of them are yellow? Use your math board and counters to find how many of the flowers are yellow. Now 1/3 looks like this. Again, it's a unit fraction. And again, this denominator is going to give me a hint on the number of groups I need. So I have 3 groups, and 9 is my total. Now 9 and 3 have a relationship because 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I know that I'm going to have 3 columns of 3. And 1/3 of that is 3, right? 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. 1 of those 3 groups, 1/3. And there's how many counters? 3. So 3 flowers are yellow. Okay. Now, this one says, Raul picks 20 flowers from his mother's garden. 1/4 of them are purple. How many of the flowers are purple? Now again, 1/4, I wrote it off to the side. This denominator is going to give me a hint on how many groups I have. Related to multiplication, division, whatever may help you in this situation, but if you have 4 groups and you need 20, remember in class I would give you those verbal problems and we would figure them out. If I had 20 apples in 4 baskets, think of the baskets as groups, how many in each basket? Well, there would be 5. It's the same thing with this. We have 20 flowers, 4 groups. How many are in one group, right? This is what we're looking for. How many are in that one group? So it first says draw a row of 4 counters, which they did, and think to find 1/4, make 4 equal groups. I put a star next to that because that's going to really help you later on in these lessons to know that that bottom number helps you know how many groups. So here we go. Now we know that 4 times 5, if we have 4 columns here, we know as mathematicians who know our division that we need 5 rows to get 20. So let's start building that. Okay. Now I know I have 20 because I know that 4 times 5 is 20. Okay? It says, then circle blank equal groups. Well, how many equal groups did they say we need? They told us above 4. So let's go through and let's create 4 equal groups, just like this. Oh my goodness. Okay, that, I'm sure yours looks way better. Now it says there are blank counters in one group, and we know that there's 5 counters in one of those groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a fourth of 20 is 5. And again, we can check 4 times 5 gets us 20. So 5 of the flowers are purple. All right. Use the model to find a half of 8. Now, just thinking about that, without even just hearing that, what is a half of 8, everyone? You have 8, cut it in half. It's 4, right? We all know that one just by thinking in our heads. Again, we can do 8 divided by this 2 to get our answer nice and quick is 4. Now, we're trying to figure out how many are in each group. It says how many counters are in one of the 2 equal groups. Well, we have 1 group here, 2 groups here, and each group has 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, right? Here we go. More of this practice. Quickly, we can do, okay, circle each group to solve. Count the number of flowers in one group. Right off the bat, I can do 8 divided by 4. Right, everyone? That was the trick we just talked about, which is 2. All right, and this is telling us that bottom number, how many groups? We need. This is the total number, which we can clearly see is 8, and this is how many is in each group, if you want to know what each number means. Okay, now the direction, yeah, it did actually say that. Okay, so again, we see that there's 2 in each group, and there's 4 groups. Let's try it with this, that quick one. We can do 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So that's how many are going to be in each group. This is the number of groups we need, so 1, 2, 3 groups, right? Tells us right in the denominator. Now this one, nice and quick, 12 divided by 6 is 2. That's our quick step right off the bat. This tells us how many groups that I want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 groups. Now 5 through 10 are all the same, okay? But we'll still do each one together. So this one, quick step, I can do 12 divided by 4, which is 3. And I want 4 groups here of 3, just like that. This one I'm going to do 15 divided by 3, I'll get 5. I want 3 groups, right? The denominator tells us how many groups. This tells us how many in each group. Good. Now say you didn't know what 16 divided by 4 was, and I'm not even gonna, I know that's none of us, we know our facts, but say you did not know that, and you couldn't get this quick step first. Well, we can still figure it out because the denominator tells us how many groups. So let's start making 4 equal groups. 2, 3, 4. And this number is how many is in each group, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go. And again, we know that 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. It all works. This one, number 8. 30 divided by 6 is 5, so I want 6 groups of 5. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I want 3 groups of 4. Just like that. And a half of 6, think of that. A half of 6 is clearly 3, because 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I want a half of that. Now, this is tricky because this is how many groups, so careful, don't go down like that. That's the routine we've been doing the whole worksheet. You want to do this. Because again, this is how many groups, how many in each group. All right, now it's our turn to draw. So we have a total of 16 objects. All right, and we're gonna want 8 groups. Now before I draw, I'm gonna do my 16 divided by 8 is 2. So I know I want 2 in each group and a total of 16. So 1, 2, here's one group. 1, 2, another group. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, I have 4 groups. I need 4 more to get 8. There we go. I have 16 total counters. I have 8 groups, and I have 2 in each group. So there you go. Maybe some of you just wrote 16 counters all at once, and then you made your groups. Okay. Now, I have 24 counters in all. I'm going to have 6 groups. I know 24 divided by 6 is 4, so 4 is going to be in each group. I need 6 groups, so I need 3 more. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And then let's make our groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, now time for some word problems. So it says, Jerry has 50 sports trading cards. Of those cards, a 5th of them are baseball cards, a 10th of them are football cards, and the rest are basketball cards. How many more basketball cards than baseball cards does Jerry have? So this is definitely a multi-step problem. I need a sip of coffee. Hold on. Where's my coffee? Okay. So let's break this down. So Jerry has 50 sport trading cards. So he has 50 cards in all. Okay, of those cards, a 5th of them are baseball cards. So again, we can do 50 divided by 5, right? 50 divided by 5 is 10. So he has 10 baseball cards. A 10th of them are football cards. 50 divided by 10 is 5. So a 10th of them are football cards. Okay? Now I would like you to show your work when you did that, but just for the video, I'm doing it verbally. Now it says, how many more basketball cards than baseball cards does Jerry have? Well, first, we need to figure out how many basketball cards Jerry even has, okay? So we've got 50 total. 10 are for baseball, so now we're down to 40. And then we have 5 of them are for football, so 35 is left. So 35 are basketball cards. Okay, now how many more means we need to subtract. How many more basketball cards than baseball cards? So we would do 35 minus 10. He has 25 more basketball cards than baseball. All right, that's a really crazy problem, lots going on. Number 14 says, Barbara has a mixed garden that has 16 rows of different flowers and vegetables. All right, so 16 is our total. Let me see if I have an extra piece of paper. One moment. Okay, because there's not enough space to do all this work. All right, sorry for the camera going crazy. So Barbara has a mixed garden that has 16 different flowers. 16 rows of different flowers. Okay. A fourth of the rows are lettuce. Okay, so a fourth are for lettuce. Now I'm going to take 16 divided by 4. So I have 4 rows of lettuce, to be exact. Okay, then it says an eighth of the rows are pumpkins. So an eighth are pumpkins. I'm going to take 16 divided by 8, which is what, everybody? 2. Our pumpkin. And then finally it says, and half of the rows are, and half of the rows are red tulips. So again, 16 divided by 2, that means that 8 rows are tulips. Sorry, it's so messy. Now the other rows are carrots. So we're looking for how many carrot rows are there. All right. Now we have 16 total. Let's add up this. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. So we started with 16. 14 of the rows are taken between lettuce, pumpkin, and tulips. So we have 2 rows left. So 2 rows are for carrots. Wow, everybody. A lot of work there. But in order to feel confident with that, you really do need to show your work. Just as I did on the phone, right now, I have to talk out loud. It really does help me process what I'm reading. Okay. All right. We have a diagram here. This is the information that we need. It says 1/4 of the seed packs Ryan bought are violet seeds. So a fourth of 8 is what? 8 divided by 4 is 2. So Ryan bought 2 packs of violet seeds, right? How many packs of violet seeds did Ryan buy? Oh, I just went through it out loud. So he has 8 packs. And a fourth are violet seeds. I'm just going to abbreviate. Now I took 8 divided by 4, right? If I have 8 packs and then I have 4 groups, how many are in each group? 2. So he has 2 packs of violet seeds. Okay. 16, 1/3 of Brooke's seeds, 1/3 of Brooke's seed packs, and 1/4 of Cole's seed packs are daisy seeds. How many packs of daisy seeds did they buy all together? Explain how you know. All together means at that final step we need to add, okay? Now we're going to look at Brooke first. 1/3 of Brooke's seed packs. Let's look at Brooke's. She has 12. So 12 packs for Brooke. I'm going to label this Brooke. And it says that 1/3 are daisy seeds for her. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4 daisy seed packs for Brooke. Now let's do Cole. Cole has 20 packs altogether. And it says that 1/4 of his are daisy seeds. So 20 divided by 4 is 5 daisy seeds for Cole. Now all together means we need to add how many Brooke had and Cole had all together. 4 plus 5 is 9 daisy, running out of blood. Seed packs together. Okay. All right, number 17. Sense or nonsense. So this is basically us figuring out if someone's right or wrong. Sophia bought 12 pots. All right, all together she has 12 pots, and 1/6 of them are green. Sophia said she bought 2 green pots. Does her answer make sense? How do you know? Well, we've been learning that if we take that total and divide it by how many groups, 12, if we have 12 pots in 6 groups, there's going to be 2, right? So, yes, she is correct. And you could easily say, because I divided 12 counters into 6 equal groups. And got 2. Okay. That's why fractions and division, we learn, division right before fractions, because all of those skills carry us into this chapter. Okay. All right, last one for today. A florist has 24 sunflowers in a container. So that's our total number. Mrs. Mason buys 1/4 of the flowers. So let's do Mrs. Mason over here. 1/4 of 24. So here's 1/4, right? That's the total. We have 24 total sunflowers, and we need 4 equal groups. 24 divided by 4 equals 6 sunflowers, right? Now, Mr. Kim buys 1/3 of the flowers. So we still have that 24, but he buys 1/3. So he buys 24 divided by 3, 8. How many sunflowers are left? So what we need to do is add 8 and 6, which is what, everybody? Good, 14. So take 24 and subtract it from 14, and we're going to get 10 sunflowers are left. All right, that's so messy, but it's so hard to hold the phone and write without holding my paper. Oh, especially being a lefty, and I'm just making excuses. Okay, well, I hope that this lesson, it was tricky, especially the word problems, and I understand that we have to get it in our head that the denominator represents that number of groups, okay? We are figuring out most of this lesson how many items are in each group, right? Whether it's how many sunflowers, we've talked about daisy seeds, we've talked about counters and figuring out how many groups and how many in each group. But remember, this is that total number, what you're working with. This is the number of groups, and this is how many are in each group. Okay? Now, I want you to take a break. work on the homework a little bit later. I had a few people call me yesterday with homework questions, and we went through a couple together, and that's totally fine. Feel free to do that. And tomorrow's lesson, it will be basically what we've been learning in more word problem fashion. Okay? So stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm going to film the next chapter of Mr. Turt Falls again very soon, and I will see you then. Bye, everyone.